So, there's a specific reason why you're here. Because you want to be good as Sinclair. And I'm going to tell you how you can be decent with it. Alright, so, right off the bat, Sinclair has a pretty decent kit, I would say. It's pretty well put together. I wonder if they'll be able to change it anytime soon. I'm going to show you guys a little bit what I know after roughly maybe 300 hours with Sinclair, 270 matches, and 150 games won. So it's about that 50%, which is pretty normal with characters that you play throughout the game. So let's go over his kit real quick. His kit consists of Vexing Bolt, Spectral Assistant, Rabbit Hex, and Audience Participation. Now, Vexing Bolt is pretty much a splash damage item that when you shoot it,
from this.
you can direct it to go to certain directions wherever you need it to go to. So,
Leave this
if
to
I
me.
do this, and then I want to hit him over there. Now, you do have to play
Blink
around
and
a
you'll
little
miss
bit with the range because it does start wherever.
Watch where
you're
this
going to.
lands.
So at far ranges, it is a little
Throwing
bit harder
bolts.
to hit, but it is possible.
I got him.
Like if I want to hit it behind the truck, I have to wait until it passes that, and
This'll
then,
keep 'em on their toes.
I'll change direction.
Ephemeral bolt.
It is a little difficult though, like that. So he was behind there, and I was able to pretty much redirect it.
Keep your eye on the
hit
bolt.
him. It
your
does
eye
get
on the
difficult
bolt.
the farther you.
Good luck running from this.
It's really good for poking at people early on in the laning phase. For instance, if they're behind the truck,
Ephemeral bolt.
this, and then bring it back down.
I got him.
And if I just go like that, you ever have people behind cover pretty much, right?
Watch where this lands.
It is a little wonky. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you'll have instances where you're trying to
Time for some
spam it and
misdirection.
it'll like go the completely different direction that you weren't even looking at, which is kind of annoying sometimes. But I'm sure they'll fix it over time once they get the mechanics correctly on it. So let's go with the second ability, which is the Spectral Assistant.
Let's get to work, Savannah.
Essentially, the Spectral Assistant, you're able to place it down, and it's kind of like a turret, I guess you could say. So let's place it
Meet
down.
my lovely assistant.
It essentially has kind of like an aimbot type of thing. It does
Leave this to me.
sometimes miss, kind of depending on the target location or the assistant location as well. Sometimes it'll bug out. And for instance, if I have it here, right? So now he's blocked. Obviously, you can't shoot the walls. Another cool feature, though, however, is that with Vexing Bolt, you could pretty much times it by 2 with
Introducing the
Spectral.
spectacular
So if you shoot one,
Savannah.
Spectral does as well. And then you make it go down.
Throwing bolt.
So it is pretty cool. The Spectral system is really good in laning because you could pretty much be behind a wall and still hit something like that. You want to be able to track things,
Just like old times, Savannah.
which is really good. So for instance, if I see that I'm hitting him here, I'm going to keep aiming that way. Right? Kind of track him through the wall with Spectral System. You guys could read here the upgrades on it. I usually like to go Spectral Assistant, upgrade it all the way to level 2 as soon as possible. So I'll go Vexing, or I'll start off with Spectral Assistant, and then I'll get Vexing Bolt, and then Rabbit, and then Spectral Assistant again, in that order, and then Spectral Assistant, the second upgrade is really once it starts to get really good in that laning phase, especially if you're upgrading to it quickly. It adds 7 seconds to the duration. So from the original 6 seconds, you could get it all the way up to 13 seconds. And you could also continue to build that up if you like. I don't think duration extender is that useful with it, but I mean, you could try it out. There's a few different builds you could try out. You could always do Vexing Bolt build, the Rabbit build with duration, or the Spectral Assistant with Mystic Reverb, maybe late game, Spirit, Balanced Spirit. It does tend to hit a little bit harder towards the end, but I must digress. I don't really do that often. It's a good build, but I just don't think Sinclair is really a like a carry type character. I would rather have my Wraith carrying or my Haze carrying than me taking all the kills and going. I just don't think he has that type of potential. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's much better with kind of like laying down suppressive fire and being able to pretty much turn people into rabbits and being that support character. I do build a lot of support items on him, whether it's slowing hex or guardian divine barrier or something along those lines, because I notice, at least from my games, when I do carry, it doesn't really help my team in the long term because I am getting all the kills. So I would rather have someone that's a little bit more powerful in that terms, that's able to carry and continue to carry throughout the game. It does seem that once other people start to catch up on you, Sinclair does kind of start to fall off a little bit fighting in even matches, regardless of the fact. So, rabbit. Essentially pretty straightforward. You turn him into a little rabbit. This item's really good when you're pretty much getting in fights. And then you could also team it up with something like Life Strike, Melee Charge, and if you're willing with extra, Spectral Fist, or Spirit Strike as well. Because you also amplify. So there's a 21% damage amplification, and it also scales with Spirit Power by 0.06. So it's not too crazy on the scaling, but it does add up, and it does count towards with your teammates as well.
Oh, you're gonna look adorable. This will keep them on their toes. Ready for the turn? Watch where this lands. Time for some misdirection.
You get the power. And then I have... Okay, so the ult is pretty straightforward. It essentially just copies the enemy's ult, and you're able to use it for a short duration while it's loading here. It gives you a timer. So keep that in mind. You don't keep it. You have to use it. So it's very scenario based, very useful in team comps that have enemy characters like Seven, Dynamo, you know, people who affect the whole team essentially. Mo is a good one as well, and it's really effective. You know, it's pretty annoying when you're getting attacked by Sinclair and he turns into you and uses your ult. So that's pretty straightforward. Let's get into items real quick. Personal items that I go to directly when I start the game. I like to go with, initially when I start the game, I'll go Extra Spirit.
I won't lie. I don't know what that does, but my kid says all the
I try to go for Mystic Slow pretty early as well. Maybe like my second or third item, depending on how well I'm doing in the lane. And then sometimes I will get health regen. Occasionally I do get health regen, more likely than not, just because it does help me with that extra sustainment. Sinclair sustain is not the best. He doesn't have any type of healing, and he doesn't have that much health either. So he starts with 700 HP, so it's not a lot at all. So you do have to keep that in mind.
I see you're a discerning individual with the penchant for violence.
Who I'm playing against, I'll usually go either Duration Extender next, or if I want to rush into Life Strike early on. Life Strike with Melee Charge early does a lot of damage just because most characters don't have a lot of HP in the beginning. So you're able to just turn them into a rabbit real quick.
Don't worry, you'll turn back.
And alongside with your Mystic Slow, you're able to...
my lovely assistant.
I mean, you can see, you know, you just start using it because you're turning into a rabbit, and you have Mystic Slow on them as well. One thing you also have to keep in mind is when you turn people into rabbits, they do have an increase in speed. It's about 30%. It's not minimal. It's 36%, which is pretty substantial. So they do start to run away pretty quickly. That's something to keep in mind. And it does stack with their items as well. So for instance, what I've noticed, something that does happen quite frequently with me when I'm playing against Infernus, and I turn him into a rabbit while he's doing his flame dash, he is like super quick, so he's able to pretty much get out when he's a rabbit while flame dash as well, because it doesn't cancel exactly what the person is doing. For instance, if Bebop is in the middle of his ult, or you know, someone like Seven, someone that has like a ult that lasts some time, pretty much anything, any type of ability, if you turn them into a rabbit, they're gonna continue to do their ult. You know, it doesn't negate that. It doesn't stop them. It doesn't take them out of it. They'll just be a rabbit and using it all at the same time. So for instance, with Bebop, it's just a big laser coming out of a rabbit. Same thing with Warden. You pretty much give him a speed buff because Warden's ult comes a lot from just being around you, being in his vicinity. So he'll catch you real quick. That's something to keep in mind if it's worth it to keep them from using their abilities, but they get that movement buff. Sometimes it's not really worth it. So yeah, after that, I do like to go for cooldown on my Vex, on my ult,
Gently used.
and then as well as rapid recharge, Ink Buster, and this is kind of just like a mid-game type thing right here. By this time, this is the type of build I have going.
Who's ready for a 2 a.m. metro ride? And
then yeah, I'll just keep going from there, just depending on how late the game gets. Cooldown, transcendent cooldown, you should want to get this pretty much by mid to late game. You should want to have transcendent cooldown, just because it really does help with your Vexing goal. You get him back really quick.
You have a good eye.
I'm counting on you, Savannah.
You're able to pretty much.
This will keep them on their toes.
Pretty good.
Leave this to me.
I get it back, so pretty much always have it.
Time for some misdirection.
You know? So that's
good luck running from this.
Oh, I have cooldown.
Don't mess this up, Savannah.
So get it.
Watch where this lands. Ephemeral bolt.
Yeah, you can pretty much spam it pretty well.
Blink and you'll miss it.
With transcendent cooldown. And then if I want to, okay, I didn't mean to do that, but how do I give myself the slots? Right. So then I'll
Here's your chance to
a late game
shape your
build
destiny.
will probably be something like this. This is like really late though.
You have discerning taste.
If you have all these items, bro, you better end the game soon. And I do go counter spell as well sometimes, just because, like I said, Sinclair isn't the best for getting out of places. So that's also why I have a Divine Barrier as well. And I do build Trophy Collector for that extra ability range on all my abilities. So that's probably something like, well...
Now, where's my assistant?
Yeah. So, let's go over a few scenarios where sometimes will happen for hiding in the early laning phase.
Throwing bolt!
You know, you want to use Vexing Bolt as much as possible. And what's really good about Sinclair as well is that you don't have that much mobility, right? You only have Spectral Assistant, which you could TP to, or you could teleport to it if you're in a situation that you need to get out. But keep in mind, you can get stunned and you can get CC'd to where you're not able to use it. For instance, I know Warden's, if he cages you, you can't use it. You can't use it even if you have a place. You'll have to wait until that cage is let go. So maybe debuff Rooster is something you could keep in mind to have. That is kind of why I have Divine Barrier as well. Since if I want to do this, I'll go ahead and come over here, go really far, get a few picks, minions, get over here, and then I'll dip out. So it is pretty helpful when you're just trying to get a few pokes in, or if you want to go clear a wave real quick. For instance,
just like old times,
really far
Savannah.
ahead, so you'll go get the wave, you'll come to the wave, clear your minions or whatever, and then by that time
some misdirection.
Boom, I'm gone, bro. I'm already at the ace. What are you talking about? So yeah, it's just a scenario that you can use that for. Rabbit Hex is really good as well, scenario basing. Let's say someone's chasing you, you get around a corner.
Here's a special trick,
boom,
just for you.
Now you're bunny.
Ephemeral bolt!
Beating you up. And so forth. Hopefully that goes well, and it's not your wife beating you up because you're up at 3 in the morning, yelling that you didn't get to go. But check it out. Another thing to do.
Please welcome my lovely assistant.
Shoot someone hiding in the back. Back in the sand room. Get some folks and
Blink and you'll miss it.
that's just little things you could think about. That's pretty much it, bro, that I can think about. I am gonna have some gameplay, and I'll try to speak over it as well after this, so you kind of get an idea. Let's go over some pros. The pros? Alright, I'll tell you the pros, bro. I'll tell you the pros if you want to know. The pros is you can turn it to anyone else in the game if you want to use a role. Boom, turn into him real quick. Abuse it if you have to. I love playing against Seven and Dynamo. Even like Bebop as well is really good to play against. I do build Lightning Scroll for that reason as well, because all those items that you have will lapse over to when you use their all as well. So damage wise, someone like Haze probably isn't going to be good for you as well. Won't be good to turn into Haze, because Haze, as you know, is a bullet based ultimate. So unless you're building like Crazy Bullet, you're not going to do the same amount of damage as Haze does when she does it. And as well, it doesn't copy her passive as well, which is what is that thing called, like focus or whatever, where she does more damage to you when she's targeting you or something like that, or how it's called. That's probably not something that's good to turn into. Vindicta is probably not that good to turn into as well. Obviously, you're just trying to get some quick scopes in, get some kills, that would be cool, but I don't think it warrants a cooldown. I think it's more useful when you're turning into someone like I said, Dynamo, Seven, Bebop, Goo, maybe if you're trying to get out. It's very scenario based, you know. That's a cool thing about Sinclair. I don't think you'll get too bored because of who you're going to turn into, who you're playing against, pretty much. So that's that one. And the cons, I have to say, is the mobility. The one thing about him is if you don't have Transcendent cooldown, you'll have instances where you get caught out because you don't have any stamina and you're not really that fast. So you kind of want to have the assistant down at all times, so you're able to kind of get out of the situations that you don't want to be in, which tends to happen quite often.
Let's get to work, Savannah.
Sinclair, and they kind of seem like an easy picking because of that reason. I feel like, you know, especially when I play Sinclair, I kind of understand what they did already, so I'm gonna rush them. Some people will wait at the assistant while he's running, because that's kind of something that does happen. Keep in mind, if you can trick people like that as well. But something to keep in mind as well, that maybe if someone's waiting at your assistant while you're running. But I have got away from just trying to doing that. It's really bad.
Good luck running from this.
So then what we can do here is I'll put up some gameplay, and I'll kind of voice over it a little bit, and you can kind of I'll show you a little bit clips as well. The most important thing you want to take out of this is Sinclair is, you got to be very careful with the fights that you get into. He doesn't really stand that well when he's like in the middle of the fight. More of like the outskirts and kind of just
introducing the spectacular Savannah.
But when he's like in the center of it, he does not last at all because of, like I said, his sustain, unless you have a different build going. But he's not the most defensive character, so you just gotta be careful with that. I do tend to get more assists than anything else, pretty much, because
Savannah, I need your help.
Bunnies and this. So just keep in mind, he's not that type of character that's gonna carry the team throughout the whole match, which you don't want Sinclair to be carrying. So that's going to be the end of the video. It's going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys were able to learn something new, and maybe you pick up Sinclair in your next match, or you add him to your roster, who knows. Yeah, hopefully you guys learned some good stuff, and I don't see you in the game, because I hate playing against Sinclair, which is why I would rather play Sinclair than play against Sinclair. So yeah, I was going to include some gameplay, but I figured the video was going to be a little bit too long for that. But be sure to check out any videos that I do have in my channel. I do post a lot of Sinclair videos so far, so that's who I've mainly been playing, so that is who I post. But yeah guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Peace.